be known, I was dressed first.
You were not.
I what? What? You got up 15 minutes before we were supposed to leave. So we're on our way to our saline sonogram. And I was up all night because I was so nervous. And now I'm nervous. You can probably hear it in my voice. I like can't stop thinking about it. I have to go with a full bladder so they can make sure I'm not pregnant. LOL. I'll just be happy when it's over. I took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen.
You did.
I did. Caitlin said 600. And yeah, I'm gonna pee in a cup. They're gonna take blood for tests. They're gonna do the saline sonogram. And then it's up to us if we want to do genetic testing. But that's separate, right? I'll let you know how it goes. I'm just nervous. How are you feeling?
I feel excited.
She's excited. Why are you excited?
That's just like the next step.
Yeah, she's like...
They gotta shove something in your hoo-ha, so no wonder you're nervous. I'm not getting anything shoved up my hoo-ha and then pumped into me.
Yeah.
You haven't had that since your early 20s.
I've never had anything pumped in... Oh my... Okay. We're ending it on that. Okay, the camera was on a weird setting. I wonder if it just... The color looks different, but I just changed it back. How do you feel?
Good. How do you feel? I didn't have anything shoved up my...
I feel fine. So, first thing we did was do blood work. We're also gonna do the genetic testing because our donor tested positive for something. We wanna make sure I also haven't tested positive for it.
You know, they said there's a 25% chance.
And if I am tested positive for the same thing he is tested positive for, then there's a 25% chance that our child will have that genetic disorder. So we're just covering all of our bases. So they gave us a card to get the test. I think it's an at-home test.
No, I think she's doing the test. And so you can track your results.
I'll have to look it up when we get home. But they gave us the card. Then I peed in a cup. I don't know what that was for.
To make sure you're not pregnant.
Really?
Yes. They can't.
I can't. Really?
Tess.
I guess it was before the saline sonogram, and they're not
can't
gonna
shove something up you with the risk of you being pregnant. They don't care if you only being a woman.
It just boggles my mind.
Yeah, but some people are faithful.
Yeah,
And
that's
like are probably could be pregnant
yeah.
and trying to get away with getting pregnant.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm not pregnant. I don't think we said this in our first video, if I use any of that. We sat down and filmed just like where we were at in the process. I don't know if we'll use any of the footage, but I want to like film as much of this process for our sakes, but like for other people as well. I'm carrying, we're using my eggs to start, and then our second pregnancy, we're hoping to do reciprocal IVF, or Maggie will carry. So we'll figure that out. But they said that everything looks good. My egg reserve is good on both sides. What did he say was blocking?
So one of your fallopian tubes is blocked. Your left fallopian tube is blocked.
Yeah, but what with what?
Like lining from your uterus.
Lining from my uterus from shedding my period. Something of that nature is blocking one of my fallopian tubes. So we're waiting for a call back to see if I can get in before my next period so they can do the surgery to remove it. And then we'll have to do one more saline sonogram to make sure everything looks good. And then we'll be scheduled for an IUI. But prior to this, we already knew that our IUI wouldn't be scheduled until after Portugal anyway, so we knew that we're pushing it back. So we couldn't do it in April because I'll be on my period / ovulating when we're in Portugal. So can't get pregnant in another country with our doctor and our sperm. So not gonna be happening till May, but Yeah, that's where we're at. I don't think there's anything else, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. We'll update you when we know more. We're getting a call. Huh?
Unless you want to talk about how they wanted you to take birth control.
Oh, I don't get why.
Why they want you to take birth control.
Yeah.
It was so they could make sure that you weren't bleeding. I don't understand, like, why they don't think that 2 weeks before your period that you track religiously, they don't know you're not going to be bleeding, but...
Well, one, they don't know me and how religiously I train. Anal, thank you. How anal I am about tracking all of my symptoms with my period. And two, my periods are very regular, like every 28 to 32 days. But I'm assuming that they probably are going off of just every woman and how they can't make the call on whether or not they know that they're going to be bleeding or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I think. So they wanted to put me on birth control so they could schedule this. What is it? I don't think it's called a hysterectomy.
That's literally what he called it.
That's what he said?
Yep.
Okay. Well, they wanted to put me on it so they could schedule it to ensure that I wasn't going to be bleeding for it, for the surgery. But I'm not going to be bleeding come Monday. So if they can schedule me Monday, then hopefully.
Monday you were still within the cycle days that they said you needed to be within.
Correct.
But anything after Monday. Monday is like the last day of your cycle day that they would do this procedure without you on birth control.
Gotcha. So hopefully we can get in on Monday. We just got home from Easter Sunday. We actually spent the first part of the morning driving in the car. And we left my parents' house, which was really nice. So we spent Easter Saturday with my family, came home, spent maybe like an hour with Maggie's family. And now I have my hysteroscopy, not hysterectomy, which Maggie thought she heard before in one of the other clips. And there is a medication you have to take vaginally and lay for 30 minutes. But I just read while I was laying here that you have to eat. You have to eat, and I haven't eaten. So Maggie made me some food. And we're gonna watch our show and my procedures tomorrow morning. So it's like a 15-minute to an hour procedure. Mm-hmm. And Maggie just waits there until I'm done. I'm going under anesthesia and I'm a little nervous. And then we'll do another saline sonogram and then we can get inseminated. So that is what's happening. And I just thought it was funny that Maggie just like set this on my chest so I could eat it. I was like, I need to get my camera and film this, but we'll talk to you maybe tomorrow or this week and let you know how it went. So we're on our way to our acupuncture appointment, and I just wanted to talk about the brutal agony of pain I was in after I took that pill. So be warned. It felt like I was giving birth. It's called Cytotec. You can do your own research on what it's prescribed for, because I'm not a doctor and quite frankly I don't want to put false information out there, but I wish that I was warned about how I was going to be feeling, because I think the last clip explaining was like, oh, I'm fine, like I'm laying down.
So you just did it?
I think I just took it after Easter. I was still wearing my dress. And yeah, I wasn't feeling anything for a few hours, I remember. And so I Googled and I was like, when is this supposed to kick in? Am I supposed to like feel anything?
You started feeling it within the hour.
I started feeling
like slight cramping.
So, yeah, but it wasn't like anything I couldn't handle. It really just felt like soft pressure.
Yeah. Because
it's supposed to like dilate your cervix. So I could feel it for sure, but it wasn't anything that like I could handle it. And then I Googled and it was like within 4 to 5 hours, and sure enough, on hour like 4.5, I was like on all fours, like crying in pain. It was awful. I threw up, I think, twice. and that lasted until maybe midnight, 1 a.m. And then the procedure itself was at 9 a.m. We had to get there at 8:15. And the recovery of that for that was fine. I just think I was like mentally, emotionally, and physically like exhausted from the pain I had endured, and like obviously I had just gone through like a minor surgery, so my body was like recovering last week. It is now the following week, right?
It's almost been a week since your procedure.
Yeah, the day of, I think I was just drugged up enough where I was like, oh, like we ended up going for a walk that day, like I was okay. And then following that, like I don't know if it's because it aligned with my ovulation window, but I was really depressed. I didn't have motivation to do much of anything. I just felt awful, and the symptoms afterwards were just like I had a really puffy face, my lymph nodes here were swollen, my throat hurt. I felt like I was getting sick, although Maggie was sick last week, so I thought like I was getting her cold. But all in all, I'm feeling better this week. We're going to acupuncture. If you get prescribed Cytotec, do some Googling and ask questions. I wish I would have asked more questions about like what I was gonna be feeling and like what I was gonna go through after taking it, because I had no idea. And that was a surprise for sure.